There's a scientist. He had this idea where dieting is pretty much calories in, calories out. So if you take in 100 calories and you exercise up to 100 calories, you pretty much know yourself out, right? And I found that this is true to an extent. If you're eating 100 calories of a hamburger that's processed, it's going to have a different effect in your body and how it's processed and dealt with compared to eating like 100 calories of broccoli. What I've found when it comes to my diet, one, I've really reduced a lot of the sugar in my diet. I don't do soda no more. I do sparkling water at most. That's the only thing I really drink out of a can. And then like fast foods, fried chicken, stuff like that. Stuff I used to like just eat a lot of, I've cut out. And also bad oils. Oil, I think, is a weird one people don't really get into a lot. For my research and my personal experience, I've found that seed oil and vegetable oil are typically really bad for you. And places out here in Asia, for example, like Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand are actually great examples of this. A lot of vegetable oil is recycled. And when I say recycled, I mean like they pull it out of sewers, or they have collectors where they take it, they refine it, and they do what they got to do. They reprocess it, and they rebottle it, and they resell it. Stuff like this is horribly bad for you, like horribly. And as part of that process of regenerating it, per se, is they add a lot of like sugars and salts into it, which makes the oil pretty much a fattening food at that point. So I've really done that. My solutions to the oil, though, is I typically just use salt-free butter, and I cook with coconut oil. Simple as that. When it comes to like coffees, you guys know I drink a ton of coffee. My solution to that is I put MCT oil into my coffee now. It's flavorless, and then I'll put a little bit of sugar in there. Just kind of give it a little kick of sweet. But past that, man, that's really all I do with the coffee part. Now, in regards to like my eating windows, I've really got into a lot of fasting. So I don't eat breakfast typically. I don't eat a few hours before I go to bed. And when I do eat, I try to eat as much as I can in a healthy way. So I'm not eating for, the remainder of the day, per se. And when I do get hungry, I typically just drink coffee. Like that's breakfast and lunch typically. And once it gets about 11, 12 o'clock, all of Vietnam goes to sleep. So I can't even go anywhere to eat because everything's closed. So I just go back to work or I get another coffee. That's how I've been losing my weight. What I bring into my body is typically low sugar base. It's higher in fats and whatnot. Carbohydrates, they're not the best thing in the world to have, but if there's some kind of a fiber balance in there, that's not a bad thing. I do want to be clear though, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist or whatever you call it. This is just life experience. This is a lot of research my end. This is talking to different doctors throughout the years. This is going through different diets and seeing how they work for me. I've been a vegan. I've done the vegetarian diet. I've done the halal diet. And this is where my results have come from. And I live on a keto diet when it comes to an actual diet. And a keto diet is just low carbs. It's really that easy. If it has a lot of carbohydrates, I don't eat it. And this means candy, soda. And you'll notice this is all bad stuff. Candy, soda, breads, rice, noodles, which is kind of hard in Asia. So that's a big part there. But the keto diet's been huge. I feel better. I sleep better. My health feels better. My weight is way more control. I'm physically fit. I'm visually fit. I find overall like I enjoy food more. When I eat, I make sure it's a good amount. And it's just stuff that I enjoy, like just a couple of days ago, I made like keto friendly tacos, and it was 3 big tacos, super good, but it was enough. And that was breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. And I thought about the tacos a few times throughout the day, but I wasn't hungry again, So eat foods that have high value and ignore the temptation of garbage. Like drinking sodas, Pepsis, and Coca-Cola is horrible. Now I do feel diet is like 60-70% of your overall health, but what about that 30 or 40%? I believe this is truly just your fitness, your exercise. If you're eating healthy, but you sit around like a couch potato, you're obviously not gonna win too much. When it comes down to my fitness, I really have this simple idea of keep it simple, like KISS, keep it simple, stupid. When you start creating these like huge workout plans, typically people get bored. They stop doing them, like they'll be, I'm gonna go to the gym, my New Year's resolution. And a lot of you guys are probably about to have this New Year's resolution where you're gonna start going to the gym. And then February comes around and you don't renew your membership. And it's not because you got no money, it's because you don't go to the gym no more, you're lazy. Keep it simple. Stay at home, do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups a day, something like that. One thing I do because I travel a lot is I do resistant band training. So I have resistant bands and I keep them in my bag. But resistant bands, 100, 200 push-ups a day. And when I'm bored or watching TV or YouTube, I'll do like jump roping without the actual jump rope. I'll just, like mimic it. And I'll jump rope for like 30 or 40 minutes. I mean, that's a couple hundred calories right there while I'm enjoying TV. If it's very simple, you have very very little room to make excuses. If it's complex, you got to go to a gym, or if you're out here in Asia, gyms aren't always open. All this stuff gets in the way of making it a habit. The average person make a New Year's resolution year after year and they give up after February or March. You're making it too hard for yourself. You really are. Just start doing it now before January. But keep it simple. 100 push-ups a day. Do it for the next 365 days. Just do something basic that gets you into that habit of just doing something that's good for your body. Just doing some jump ropes without a jump rope, watching TV, and a couple hundred push-ups a day can change your life and take almost no effort. When you get the diet, when you get the fitness down, the next thing that comes is your mental. Mental health is very serious. It's also one of the most overlooked problems. And when I say problems, if we have a problem, we have a mental problem, we have a mental breakdown, we're stressed, something like that happens, we go to doctors. What do doctors do? They give us medications, we drug ourselves. A week later, the problem comes back again. So we have to find a way to override that. When you have a good health, when you have a good diet, and when you work out, even casually, you're creating a stronger mind, which is gonna relieve a lot of this mental issues. And this reminds me of Andrew Tate. He talked about this after some interview after he got out of jail. And they asked him, were you depressed? And he said depression isn't real. And he came out saying, if I don't believe it's real, how can I be it? I get what he's saying, because if you feel that you're sad, you're going to be sad. If you feel that you're angry at somebody, you're going to be angry at somebody, right? How can you be something you're not aware of? If you are feeling depressed, and I have always felt this idea of, if you feel depressed, that means you're doing something against what your body is happy with. Doing simple things like physical health, going out, joining a gym, or joining a baseball team or a hockey team, or going out to the park and just doing a walk. I've met countless people in Thailand when I go to parks and just do the walk around the tracks, and I just meet random Western people, random Thai people, and my inner circle grows. So is depression real or not? Sure, it's real. How it affects you and how you allow it to affect you is the real thing. Obviously get help if you need it, but if the depression's coming from laziness, if it's coming from bad decisions, if it's coming from a poor diet, you can literally throw depression out of your head because it's not real at this point, because you're creating this idea and you're associating it to depression. This brings to my mind the idea of getting mad. Why do I get mad? What triggers me getting mad, and how do I feel before the anger comes, and how do I deal with it? What are my reactions? Do I start punching walls? Do I start yelling at people? Or do I just sit down and be like, David, what is wrong? And this is a good way to get over that depression, that anger and stuff like that, is when you realize it's coming. Sitting down and reflecting allows you to practice self-awareness and understand when these issues arise. And you'll start being able to, as second nature, deal with these types of things. So if you're battling with this stuff and you find yourself having these crazy mental breakdowns, or depression moments, or compulsive eating moments, or anger issues, or outbursts, when did you feel it? When you're getting in that moment where you're angry right then, it's probably not the best time to self-reflect. You want to do the self-reflection hours down the road. Don't reflect on the damages you cause, but reflect on the beginning of it before it even happened, and how the whole process happened physically and mentally for you. Once you figure that out, dude, I'm telling you, the whole idea of depression isn't real starts becoming a reality, because you're starting to have more control of yourself mentally. And before I get out of here, the last thing I want to talk about is sleep. So I wanted to share with you guys a couple hacks that I use when it comes to sleeping and how I actually get to sleep. Things that I do that help me sleep, because I work a lot. There's days I work 18, 19 hours a day, and then I work till I fall over. 6 hours later, I wake up and I just get back to work. Sleep is one of the most important things you can do for your body. It really is, even past diet, even past fitness. I used to have this mindset, if I just drank more coffee, I could stay awake longer, I could work more. And I avoided sleep to an extent. I would just sleep 3 or 4 hours a day, right? You can't use coffee as a motivator all the time. Coffee, caffeine, cigarettes, cocaine, whatever you're doing to stay awake, it's not a substitution for your body just laying down and recovering. If you plan on going to sleep at 11, lay down at 10 and start reading a book, any book. Pick a book, Harry Potter, read the Torah, because your brain has to work harder, which makes your brain more tired. Reading is more energy draining than watching TV or Netflix, right? We pass out watching Netflix because our brain's just bored. But when you're reading, you're exhausting your brain. You'll get better sleep. It's crazy how that works, but it's true. The next one is I just don't eat or drink anything 2 hours before I go to bed because your body goes into digestive mode. This takes a lot of energy and it usually takes 2 to 3 hours to kind of process the idea. So if you're snacking and eating and drinking like sodas and stuff before you go to sleep, your body is using a lot of energy to digest all this stuff while you're sleeping. You want your body to repair your body. You see what I mean? You don't want to sit there like breaking up food. Digesting food while you're passed out is not a positive thing, right? Like you want it to repair your body. The next one, the obvious one, is you shouldn't have like tech, phones, iPads around you. A few things I've read online, like I've seen YouTubers talk about this too, like entrepreneurs and stuff, is just don't bring them to bed. If you have to bring your tech, or if your book that you're reading is on your iPad like mine is, change the actual hue of your color. You can do this in your settings where you can change the color and have it like an overlay where it's red, right? Like, let me show you. So if you see my phone, I click the side, 1, 2, 3, you see it gets that red hue. This red hue you want to have on at night. The reason for this is it negates the blue lighting. Blue lighting is a high frequency in your brain. I don't totally understand it, so do your research. The last one, if you smoke or if you drink, cut back. Drinking actually inhibits and damages your sleep pattern, your REM sleep, and it makes it harder for your body to actually calmly relax and go to bed. But if you can avoid smoking a few hours before you go to bed, and alcohol, if you can give yourself a break, like a couple days off a week where you just don't drink and you just let yourself kind of go to sleep, that could be a benefit. If you quit drinking for like 2 days, you're probably not going to sleep 100% better than you were when you were drinking because your body's still like in this like recovery mode, right? When I quit drinking, I don't think I noticed my sleep improving until like 5 or 6 months later. But dude, it was night and day how much better my sleep was. Like reading online, most people have this kind of a similar problem when it comes to mental issues, breakdowns, emotional stuff, depression. All of these reports I read, a lot of them report they don't sleep a lot. I know it's one of those caused by a correlation kind of ideas, but really, check your sleep, check your fitness, check your diet. And this whole idea that Andrew talks about, like depression is not real, if you allow something to be real, it's real. If you don't believe in ghosts and you hear stuff at night in your room, you're just going to go to sleep thinking it's the wind. If you believe in ghosts, you're not going to sleep all night because you're freaked out. You see what I mean? So you allow yourself to believe what you want to believe. And this can truly change the outcome of what things do and how things interact with you and how you interact with them. You see what I mean? So I hope this helped you out, guys. This is probably the last one we'll do on this kind of series, but I got to sit down and really reflect on a lot of stuff and take notes. And I wanted to share with you what I came up with and how I feel and how my life has improved since. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here. We got work to do. It's a sunny day in Vietnam and we got to go check some sites. So till then, guys, I will see you again.